All right, we're getting closer to death. This is episode 3 of We Are All Gonna Die with Andy and Merlin.
Hey, they're freaks. It's time again. Andy and Merlin, your cursed best friends. Flames rise high. Don't even try. 'Cause we're all gonna
Do you feel more every time we do a show? You feel more like we're gonna die. We're closer to death.
We're getting closer to death every episode. Do you feel that way?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, you look like you're closer to death, dude. What's up with you?
I'm a mess these last 2 weeks. I went to a new doctor and he gave me a whole diet.
A new doctor.
A new doctor.
Okay, well, this is LA, so you could have seen a nude doctor. Maybe you should see a nude doctor.
I think I probably should. Every time I do a doctor in California, it hasn't been good. It's been a wild experience.
But is this the first time you've been to a doctor like in 2 years?
Yeah.
Andy.
Well, see, my last one retired.
Well, that'll make you quit going, I guess.
And I thought they would put me with a new person in their facility.
Yeah, is that how it goes?
They didn't do that. And then my insurance changed because I got laid off.
Okay.
So I had
to go Medicare?
No.
Okay, good.
But so then I had to get a new doctor, and I went to the same facility as my old doctor, but it had just been a little while. And this new guy they have is he's either like a mad scientist or he's completely insane.
Okay, now I was texting you all day today, talking about the show for tonight, and you didn't answer forever. And then you just sent me this long text about let me get this right, okay? I'm paraphrasing here. That he told you he wanted you to fast because he expected you to lose 16 pounds in 2 weeks?
No, he said in 1 week I should have lost 16 pounds.
What? There's no freaking way, dude. What kind of doctor is this? Is Donald Trump your doctor?
No, I don't know.
Is RFK Jr. your doctor?
It's a wild story because he gave me this crazy
unless you chop your arm off. Huh?
He gave me this crazy biology lesson, and some of it makes sense, especially to myself who doesn't. I'm medical stuff. I have no knowledge. So he gave me this story about I have high triglycerides, which I think is a part of cholesterol.
Yeah.
And that's due to overweight. And then he claimed the fat is made up of this element and that element and carbon molecules or carbon atoms. And when we breathe is the only way to lose that carbon, which is causing weight, is to breathe out. Because every time you breathe in O2, your body attaches a carbon atom and then you breathe it out as CO2.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Right.
So, and he explained, because that, even though it only weighs a quarter of a gram per breath, it adds up over time. So if you don't ingest any carbon, meaning you don't eat, because everything you eat is carbon based, you'll just lose weight because you'll be breathing out this carbon. So I tried to follow him on it, and I did pretty good on week 1 as far as not eating. I was allowed to have coffee, and I was allowed to eat a candy bar for lunch and dinner.
You ate a candy bar for lunch
and dinner.
That's it?
Yeah.
Bullshit artist. I say again, bullshit artist.
I think where's your doctor? The mental institute?
I think he went to Trump University for his medical degree.
Oh my God, or RFK Jr., man.
I don't want to seem like I'm being evasive.
Yeah.
But I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me.
Oh my
Yeah, it sounds insane. So, but I was like,
you cannot. It's not unless you chop off an appendage. There is no way in hell you lose 16 pounds in 1 week.
well, that's what he claimed. But
Unless you had
one
60
week,
pounds of shit up your intestines.
after 1 week, I went in and my weight was the exact same number.
Yeah, it takes time to get the metabolism going, dude.
So he comes in and I just like gives me this attitude like I'm not listening to him. I failed. I didn't try. Don't waste his time. And I'm like, I'm like, what the? I'm like, first of
When
all,
was this? This week?
no, this was last Friday.
Okay.
So I was like, hold on, you're pissing me off here because I tried to do this, and maybe I slipped up in some way,
Right.
like, but I didn't eat any food. So, maybe instead of having that coffee, I had an energy drink and that has carbon in it. Maybe I don't know, but that's not enough to create like a situation where I didn't lose a single pound.
Right. I think the best thing for you is just start a new lifestyle.
Yeah, probably. But so
try to do something crazy in 1 week. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, you know what? We went to the cemetery for the showgirls thing, and I had a couple beers and a few bites of food. So okay, maybe I didn't do good enough. Let me try again.
But
and I tried this week.
But it's not unless you're not even working out. You're not getting your metabolism going yet. It takes a while. You can't do that in 1 week.
No, he said none of that matters.
But it does. Obviously, it does because it didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
No, it didn't.
Like this war didn't work, but
according to him, it didn't work because I didn't do it right.
You're aiming to fail. Like there is no way any human can succeed at that. There's no way. Unless your intestines just fall out of your ass. That's the only way, dude. There's no way.
The kids in Gaza are doing the study right now, and
oh god, man! Like Andy, man, like I just need you to just maybe take out the beer and take out the heavy carbs. Like you don't need Philly cheesesteaks every day,
but they're so good.
All that, you know me. I'm
yeah.
I'm 14 years older than you, and I had to cut out carbs, the gluten, and the soy, and half the dairy, and it still took several months before I started noticing the weight loss.
Yeah,
like I felt better first of all, first it was horrible. Okay, yeah, it's the detox of all the processed food and everything we've been eating all this time, the sugars, right? So it's just like getting off a drug. So it gave me like sickness, soreness, headaches, everything. It was a bitch. And then you finally do it, but you're like, okay, why am I not losing weight? I've been working out, I'm doing everything, and still, it still took a few months, and then all of a sudden, pow, and it's just I just started losing like a few pounds here, a few pounds there, and within a year, I've lost almost 40 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, but it took a year.
Yeah.
And I'm working out all the time. You're not even working out yet.
Yeah.
First, I had to stop. I had to start with simple like yoga because my body was like weak and I was injured. In pain. And then once the muscles got stronger, I went and started doing, HIIT classes, circuit, kettlebell classes, cycling, everything. And now I'm just like a gym rat, Marie will tell you. Like I go 5-6 times a week.
Really?
Yeah, I love it now. Plus, you're single, man. There's a lot of hot chicks at the gym. That should be an incentive.
Yeah. Oh, that's a whole other story.
Okay, we'll talk about, but you keep let us know how you're doing. Okay.
Well, I'm supposed to go back. Let me just get you through end of this week. Last night, I was so tired. I was exhausted from not eating. Like I had no energy. I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock at night.
I heard.
I woke up at like 11 today.
9 p.m. to 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Andy, that's like 14 hours.
I woke up, in a panic. I was like, oh my God, like everything about in life, in, you know, like being unemployed, it all came like crashing down. I thought I was going to die. I'm going to be homeless, all this stuff.
I know. Yeah, I feel that way.
And a crazy person today. And then finally I was like, you know what? F this guy. I'm done with this diet. And I went out and got some food.
What'd you get?
I just got a sandwich. But
What'd you get?
An Italian sandwich.
On like a hoagie Subway bun.
But the problem with that is that.
And what'd you get with it? Chips? And
I was so starving that whatever was in front of me was fine. I couldn't make a healthy choice because I was just so starving.
Yeah,
it was like, give me anything now.
See, I think my food allergies were the best thing that ever happened to me, because if I eat that stuff then and now, I will have extreme headaches and I will literally have projectile vomit, and sometimes projectile diarrhea.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not fun. So it's almost like you're getting cattle prodded if you eat what you shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
And thank God, because that was the madness of it all. You know, that was what caused the baneness of my pain of everything was the food allergies. And that sucked. But for after a while, you got used to it, because luckily now everything around, you know, it's easy to like have alternative types of foods. You can go to Sprouts, Whole Foods, Lassen's, Trader Joe's, and get
grass right outside.
What's that?
There's grass right outside. You can eat, you know.
I don't want to eat that. Like, right? You don't know. You can find a syringe in there or something. Yeah, all right. Well, Andy, okay, I'm gonna make you do a little quiz, okay?
Okay.
This is what episode is this?
This is episode 3.
Okay. Episode 1, which was basically 2 weeks ago. What was the main topic of discussion?
That was Elon and Trump's fight.
Yeah, their divorce, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. What was the main topic on our episode 2 last week?
I think the No Kings protest versus the Trump parade, kind of.
Yes. Okay. And so what do you think the main topic will be tonight?
Tonight will probably be the U.S. entering the war.
Yeah. And the bombing,
Iran.
right?
Yeah.
And the bombing scandal.
Yeah.
That has been all over the freaking news today, man. I mean, when did that start? This week, last weekend?
Yeah.
Do you remember any other Secretary of Defense as more in the limelight as Pete Hegseth? I feel like we see Pete Hegseth now more than we see and hear from him more than we see Trump and other people.
Well, Trump doesn't want to have to explain these types of things. Like, you know, he wants
to, woo, woo, the plane goes woo, woo, woo,
right. Yeah. He you know, he sends out these talking heads, you know.
His Fox News people.
Let them deal with the rabble of the news corps. Like, who cares? You know, Trump just wants to golf and he wants the credit and he wants to make money.
Oh, and he's still making money.
Oh, yeah.
I think he made a handshake deal with Nippon Steel to buy the U.S. Steel.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And he probably got paid under the pocket for that one, too. Yeah, he's just going to make more money while everybody out here in the streets of L.A. are getting thrown to the ground by people in masks, and people are losing their jobs and, you know, going to lose their health care and God knows what.
Oh, I know.
He's making millions.
I'm right in the middle of it.
Yeah. You are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm one who, I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily Trump. Like, it's not his, you know, tariffs or anything that cause problems in the television industry, but there certainly is something going on in the television industry that is
definitely
getting a lot of us worried and, you know, experiencing unemployment, and it's not
because they're moving a lot of the studios to other countries. Like I talked to my buddy and he said, you know, couple editors, producers, and they're mad because they actually are doing a lot, especially like I've heard like the game shows and other shows are filming either in Dublin, Ireland, or in Argentina.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I have heard Ireland. Yeah,
and then they can actually say like it's one of those like primetime game shows, with like Anthony Anderson or Travis Kelce, your buddy.
Oh yeah,
they'll fly all those people, even the contestants. So if you're just like average Joe Smith, and you got onto one of these game shows you see on the middle of the summer at 8:00 at night on ABC or something, that there's, shipping out all those contestants who live in different places in the country. And it's a lot easier and cheaper to have them film there without like using under, union rules and pay. But they can still hire non-union and union for these gigs, but they don't have to abide by union laws instead of in all the taxes shooting here in LA and other parts of the US.
Right. Yeah.
And they just ship everybody back, but they still have like entire US crew and everything.
Yeah, it's not a good thing for us.
No.
Well, there's a show that I worked for that I don't know what's going on with it, but they've been searching for assistant editors for as long as I've been unemployed.
Okay.
But the problem with it is they want you to move to Greensboro, North Carolina or something.
Well, go move there.
I ain't moving to North Carolina.
Hey, at least I'll come visit because this is where I'm from. We fly into Greensboro every holidays. I'll see you during the holidays. Randy's there.
If that's
Ruby lives there, you can hang out with him and Brian.
I might as well move to Ireland then.
Sure.
And get a job.
Shoot, meet you a nice, good Irish girl.
Yeah,
nice ginger.
I'm fine with that.
So anyway, dude, Hegseth, he's losing his brain. He's going like, and have you seen so many like politicians and the White House always like so defensive and so on edge? If you thought like these guys were professional, imagine like if any other administration, doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, whatever, you know what I mean? Like every president we've had before, go and look back at all their press meetings. If they don't know the answer, they usually, you remember what they would say? Like, we're still assessing. We'll get back to you on that. If the press, the media ask them a question, right? If they don't have the answer, right? And it could be, a very hard pressed question. Like, did you do complete damage to your target? And they can either say yes or no, or we're still assessing. Once we have more evidence, we'll get back to you with it.
Yeah, and then they put out like some kind of image or thermal imaging of what it looks like.
But even if like you messed up or did mess up, you would just say that and remain calm, right?
Yeah. Well, there was a sense of professionalism before that.
Right.
It's gone now.
And it doesn't matter if these guys did mess up, like I said, or they lied about something like the Gulf War or something like that. They were still very calm, cool, and professional about it.
Yeah. I blame reality TV.
Do you have certainty that all the highly enriched uranium was inside the Fordo Mountain, or some of it, because there were satellite photos that showed more than a dozen trucks there 2 days in advance? Are you certain none of that highly enriched uranium was moved?
Of course, we're watching every single aspect, but Jennifer, you've been about the worst, the one who misrepresents the most intentionally. What the president says. I'm familiar.
Report about the ventilation shafts on Saturday night, and in fact, I was the first to describe the B-2 bombers, the refueling, the entire mission with great accuracy. So I take issue with that.
I appreciate you acknowledging that this was the first the most successful mission based on operational security that this department has done since you've been here, and I appreciate that. So we're looking at all aspects of intelligence and making sure we have a sense of what was where.
If you know people, you have friends or family, you ask them, oh, did you drink my last beer? And then they get defensive and they keep going about it, then they probably drank your beer.
Yeah.
And they keep talking about it and you've moved on, right?
Right, yeah.
when people get defensive and won't shut up and then start throwing other people on the bus or blaming you, they flicked it back on you. That's kind of odd.
Yeah, it stems from a kind of like a panic because they don't know how to answer because they're guilty of the charges,
Right.
So they just panic and try and throw your attention to someone else.
Yeah. Why do you think they're panicking?
What do you mean specifically? Like in
Iran?
The
entire bombing of the Iran supposed nuclear site.
Trump's trying to appease two groups that want two different things. His base is mostly anti-war and doesn't want us to get involved. On that side, the sort of like connection with Israel and defending Israel has kind of died down a little bit. And I think that's due to social media, due to the fact that, people are able to see what's actually going on. We're not relying on mainstream media, which won't say anything against the administration because they need the administration. They have that kind of relationship where they need access to that power. So people are seeing things outside of the perspective that those groups want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so his base, or much of the MAGA base, doesn't want to be involved in wars. And it's funny because that's really a huge American thing. Like if you watch anything about history, about like World War I or World War II, nobody wanted to be involved. American people were anti going to that war.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And Woodrow Wilson in the first one, and then FDR had to literally figure out ways to get us into the war without, really pissing off all the Americans that were anti-war. Mm-hmm. Pearl Harbor helped FDR because at that point we're like, we're attacked. Okay.
Right.
But I think both Wilson and FDR campaigned and won the presidency on an anti-war stance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so like the American people have been that way forever. The people that want war are powerful money interests, they make money from war. And Trump has so many donors that fit into that. The number one being the Adelsons.
Mm-hmm.
The Adelsons are very well. The one guy is passed away now. It's just his wife left, but they're very pro-Israel, like we need to back them no matter what. Israel can do no wrong, and they're Trump's biggest donor. So Trump is trying to appease them and also his base that doesn't want to be involved. And you can't really do both. You're either getting involved or you're not. So he tried to show that he, was able to bomb surgically these things real quick, one action, and now we have a peace agreement where it's all done with. There's no real war happening, So base, you can calm down because I'm not getting us into a war. And donors, you can be happy because I just did what Israel wanted. And I seen people on these YouTube shows freaking out because Trump lied about the bomb. Of course, Trump's lied his whole life. That's all he does. Like, of course he's gonna lie.
Do you think he lied?
Probably.
Right.
Who even knows where they hit? I'm sure they had some kind of intelligence.
No, I think they've had that plan for. This wasn't something they planned just now. I think they know their targets. They knew that Iran was working on nuclear weapons and creating, nuclear energy.
Yeah, I think Iran claimed that they moved everything like weeks ago.
Well, maybe when Trump posted it on True Social, Like, you better leave Tehran. We're going to bomb the place.
Well, they
But
say
I don't think the media leaked the info to Iran. I think Trump gave them the forewarning. Like, he's a little too happy on his keyboard there.
He loves to show how powerful he is.
Like, he should have not said anything. Like, if you see that, I think you should take Trump seriously, right? Or like be precautious and start loading up the trucks with the nuclear energy.
Yeah, move it all. Yeah, I'm sure they did.
We saw all those trucks. They showed them like a few weeks ago after Trump did the post.
I saw a video of guys going into the hole created by the bombs and showing that there was nothing in there.
This is just theories, not conspiracy theories, but if they do come true, there is a possibility, okay? And I think because the way they're stressed out and everything, because if you were really successful, wouldn't you be calm, cool, and collected?
Yeah.
If you knew you had the winning hand, would you like just be stone cold cool, right?
Yeah.
We got this. You know, like we're cool,
Yeah.
you know? Not like, oh, I hate you, I hate media. You know, that's what they're acting like, right? Like, why are you acting like a little defensive brat and being a little dick about it? So there is something going on. Something bad happened. Something didn't go right. And this is two of my theories, okay?
Okay. Well, yeah.
A, they moved the what you call it, the nuclear energy, correct?
Yeah.
They moved it to another location out of that centrifuge, right? To another one, somewhere else. Because Trump gave them the information on Truth Social, or Pete Hegseth told them on Signal, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're always like, if you watched the speech today on his press meeting, he was like, and then Trump talking, they always like, don't put our bombers and our pilots down. They worked hard. And that's not the case. They're not blaming the pilot and the bombers.
Yeah.
They did their job. They hit the targets.
They've
known for these targets forever. You know, it could have been Bush, it could have been Obama, it could have been Trump, and it could have been Biden. All those other terms, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because the military had this planned. They knew their targets once they got to go. But the thing was, they knew. So they escaped with all their nuclear energy to another centrifuge. There wasn't any to begin with. Tulsi Gabbard said they just hit a blank target. Like they knew at one time that stuff was a centrifuge, you know, a nuclear bomb or nuclear energy, right?
Yeah, right.
But they've known at some time they relocated, but it was empty. And because you know how Trump is, he's a Looney Tune, right? He's crazy. And you know how that one time, the last term he was in, he said he wanted to bomb Mexico and have them think it was like China.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Mr. President, that ain't gonna work, dude. He was smarter than that. So this is Trump getting all baby. You know, of course, you said our first episode, Elon broke up with him, right?
Right.
They had their divorce feud. Second week was the gut punch, right? It hit him right between the knees. You know it did. That puny, sad, hilarious parade he had.
Right.
Versus how many millions of people at the No Kings protest that all hated him, that him seeing that the party was elsewhere and it was not for him, it was against him.
Yeah.
So he's just like, go blow up something in Iran and say we bombed the nuclear site, a weapon site. And then I can be a hero.
Yeah, I would definitely believe that basically it's all bullshit, and that's just based on, you know, knowing who Trump is over the years. That's probably the truth. I've also it's also pretty obvious that you trust Tulsi Gabbard, but like the intelligence agency,
right,
more than anything.
Wasn't allowed to be involved in this.
And if they say that there's no weapons program, and I've heard from other places that they haven't restarted their program that they stopped under the Iran agreement,
right,
with Obama. They never restarted it. So that's what I'm hearing. So yeah, it totally makes sense that it doesn't exist and that Trump just bombed something to make it look like he, you know, is, I don't know, a tough guy.
Like they just know it's an empty mountain up there. And they just blown it up.
Yeah.
And then Trump types on Truth Social. So if there's any like Iranians up there, they can, head out of the hills and elsewhere so they don't get bombed. Like that was like him like get out of there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's that smart or he would care.
Yeah, I don't think he would care. I'm sure there's people living on those mountains and they're dead now.
So yeah, that's my two theories, because there's something going on, because why are they acting so stressed out? If you knew you had it done, and that's what the media is about. They've always done that. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, like I said, Republican, you're going to get asked the same hard questions. It's just questions.
Yeah.
They're not telling you that happened. They're just asking if it happened. And if that story's true, and can you back it up? Because they're not going to the press does not want to post fake, phony shit.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff. They want facts.
Yeah.
And that's why they're there at the press meeting.
Exactly.
Facts. Yeah. And that's, they're some of the best reporters. And if you saw the video where Hegseth actually starts going after the woman reporter from Fox, and apparently, she is a hard-hitting one, and she has a lot of respect from everybody, from every party, that she just asked a question like, did they move the locations? And then he starts going, "You're the worst of them all. You're the worst. You're horrible. How dare you?" And like, she's like totally appalled. She's like, you know what? Like, I'm a good reporter. I get the facts straight and I lay it the way it is. Like, you need to respect me.
Yeah.
And he had no respect. And then, the pilots or the bombers were women, and he never acknowledged the women as heroes.
Acknowledge the female pilots that also participated in this mission. The early messages that you sent out only congratulated the boys.
So when I say something like our boys and bombers, see, this is the kind of thing the press does, right? Of course, the chairman mentioned a female bomber pilot. That's fantastic. She's fantastic. She's a hero. I want more female bomber pilots. I hope the men and women of our country sign up to do such brave and audacious things. But when you spin it because I say our boys and bombers as a common phrase, I'll keep saying things like that, whether they're men or women. Very proud of that female pilot, just like I'm very proud of those male pilots. And I don't care if it's a male or a female in that cockpit, and the American people don't care. But it's the obsession with race and gender in this department that's changed priorities. We don't do that anymore. We don't play your little games.
What are you telling me? Oh, you're so woke. He's getting all mad. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just saying, the guys of the bombers, that's just a phrase that was used in World War II, because they were all men then.
Yeah.
And now they're men. And he could have said girls, or like, I heard on MSNBC, you could have just said the men and women of these planes did their duty, right? And they were on target. They were successful. And the thing is, the press aren't even going after them. Like, they did their job.
Right.
Regardless if there was atomic bombs in there or not.
Yeah.
They hit the targets, properly.
Yeah, they did what they were supposed to do.
Yes.
It's someone else's job to have the intelligence of where things are.
Yeah, and then the White House is making it act like, oh, if you insult our intelligence, then you're blaming it on the pilots and the bombers. Yeah,
that's just because they're babies and they don't want to be blamed for their stupid mistakes.
Or they start. I think Caroline Leavitt just keeps blaming it on Biden. This is still Biden's fault.
Oh, she's the worst, dude. Could you imagine that?
Did you know that? I guarantee you, next big earthquake here in California will happen. Trump will also blame it on Biden. You know why? Because he wants to change the San Andreas fault to Biden's fault.
I love that.
Did you see my t-shirt, dude? Speaking of liars.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this t-shirt. I got this from my buddy in Denmark, Thomas Knudsen. I'll have the link. He sells a lot of anti-Trump political t-shirts on Etsy. I'll have his link. He's got some really cool stuff. He, of course, since he's from Denmark, he's got some funny ones about Iceland and polar bears eating Trump. But this one is like the other names. You like that one, Andy?
I do, yeah.
What is going to happen next, dude? What is going to happen?
We're in scary times. We really are. It's really funny to look at like social media because how it does add so much like good things to our lives, but it also comes with all this craziness. Like
I feel like now that we're like so global now and so in tune from everybody all over the world, that yet I feel people are more disconnected than ever.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like it's weird that all these nobodies can now become famous through social media, and you get it in every kind of industry. Like popular famous actors used to be famous really talented actors, and now famous people are like you can just act like an idiot and you got enough views, so you're now as famous as Jack Nicholson or something.
I know, right?
It's crazy. And then of course in politics the same thing happens where you get these crazy people who stand up and get all this attention by saying that these politicians don't know what they're doing, that they blah 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 blah. They get all this attention and now they're in charge. Now they get the same kind of like as if they have
the chickens have come to roost.
Had any experience at all? No, and we're wondering why our politics is a crazy mess.
And we're actually being laughed at by the rest of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Even Russia is laughing at us.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
Well, the most. Yeah, they're just being stone cold about it because they're more clever because they know they're manipulating Trump.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
In the news in the last few days. How about this New York City mayoral candidate? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I'm so late. How do you say his name?
Mamdani.
Mamdani.
I don't know how to say his
Zoran.
Zoran.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know much.
He sounds like he's a genie or something. I love it.
You remind me of Adam Sandler, the Zohan.
Yeah. Oh no, that too. But he kind of reminds me of the thing when you would go to the fair and you make the wish. I think that was in Big with Tom.
Oh Hanks. Yeah, the one that made Tom Hanks big.
Yes.
Yeah. Zoltan.
I hope we can do that. But he seems like an amazing guy. But the polls said he only had like a 1% chance of winning the primary. And look at this guy. He like killed it.
Yeah, I didn't know much about him until this week, until he won, and I was like, "Oh, what?"
He's a big socialist.
Yeah,
crazy.
I kind of think we need a little more of people like him.
Right, young, 33, a go-getter. I think we need more people
who need help.
Yeah, we need like more people like him, AOC, Bernie, great people. And get rid of, I hate to say this, but get rid of the older people because, you've done your time. You've done a great job. But right now, in this day and age, we need the young people who have the energy to stay up 24/7 to fight this fight.
Yeah.
I can't be like you, Andy, sleeping 14 hours a day. Okay? Like Chuck Schumer probably does. He only gets out to go to the Congress meetings.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Well, 95%. The only thing I don't agree with is that they've done a great job.
Well, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm being nice about it. Okay.
Being nice to get them out of there. I think
I'm being nice. Like, thank you for your service, but I'm being diplomatic, basically.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I'm just like, listen, we need some youth in there to fight this fight. Trust me, a smart go-getter at 33 is going to beat a pasty orange 79-year-old man any time of the day.
Yeah.
And a drunk defensive attorney who doesn't know jack. And then, of course, a former lawnmower guy who is now the head of counterterrorism.
Is that the grocery store clerk too?
Yes.
I don't even know what that was. I heard that for a second.
And I am worried that or not just domestic terrorism, but foreign terrorism in our country is going to start happening with these goofballs. Especially there's now that you've got 4,600 National Guards still in the city of LA, and what the hell's going on?
Are they
Nothing's
still
going
here?
on. There's just, huh?
They're still here?
Yeah, it keeps adding more. And they're throwing and beating up citizens or undocumented people who've got kids in the military who are adults now here who've been here for like 30, 40 years, who have paperwork and everything, whoever citizens, and they're getting thrown to the ground and getting punched. It's been all over the news. And it's all the Latino and Hispanic populations. It's happening like in Florida, where you saw a lot of Cubans and Puerto Ricans and other that voted for Trump, and now they or their family members or friends are getting deported in Florida, and now they're crying like you've double crossed us. Well, we could have told you that, right, Andy?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We fooled them all. He said he was gonna fix all their problems, like he did also the Muslims or Middle Easterns of like in Michigan, who had all these problems with Harris and Biden. And he said, I will take care of my Muslim Americans. And he's giving them the middle finger too.
Yeah, I mean, he just needed to
unless you're a rich white guy or a hot woman.
You have no value to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know how people couldn't see it coming. He's been around. We know who he is. We've seen him since the 80s. We know he's completely full of shit.
But I wonder what people now who are still like I know we have friends and family who are still diehard MAGA. What do they see good about him now at this point? What has he done this entire term that they can point out like, that's what I love about Trump? Because the only thing it could be is just burning bridges and making everybody's life a living hell. And these people hate themselves, so they're just happy other people are more miserable than they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think that most people
they still think he's playing 4D chess and the game ain't over.
Maybe he's playing 5D chess. But no, I think people are so broke and on the edge of desperation that
they were needing to change badly.
The hope that it would just be something different.
Well, he promised to everybody on day one, and what thing on day one has come in?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. No, except war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Something he said he would never say. And what's going on with the Ukraine-Russia war? While this is going on, I heard like Russia's bombing Ukraine even more, but it's under the rug right now because of the whole Iranian thing.
Yeah, I've heard the same. I haven't seen many like stories about what's going on. I just heard like there's a big Russian push and bombing campaign, but I don't really know. This is the wonderful job that our mainstream media does in informing us.
Right.
They all cover the same story, whatever's hot.
The tech bros manipulate the algorithms that get to you.
Yeah.
So you only see things that are pro-Trump, maybe. That's what happens to a lot of my friends, my MAGA friends.
Yeah, that's definitely happening.
I have friends. I mean, my family, they're smart as hell. They have master's degrees. I have friends who are lawyers, doctors who are total MAGA, and they just tell me the dumbest crap. And I'm like, where are you getting this? Like, I've never heard it. Something this crazy should be all over the news, right?
Yeah.
And then I Google it or I chat GPT, like, where are they getting this information from? Because I'll just go to chat GPT and they're like, oh, these are conspiracy theories that were shouted out by, Donald Trump and, the administration. And they're all false. They've all been debunked.
That makes sense.
And I'm like, yeah, they're like, none of that's true. There's never been anything, no evidence or anything to back their theories up.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel the urge sometimes that it's sort of like it's based on like outrage. Like you see something that's just so outrageous and it's an automatic feeling that you want to bring that up when you see
I asked him, I said, where do you get this information? Where? And guess where? TikTok and X.
Yeah.
And who's manipulating those algorithms?
The Chinese? I don't know.
Is that where you get all your news too? Well, yeah. Well, and Elon Musk.
No, that's where I see crazy things. Yeah, but
yeah,
not where I get my news. No.
And they're just telling me like you should be smart enough. I don't understand how are people this smart all of a sudden get turned to being so dumb and believing this. I don't understand. It's like they got totally brainwashed. Like there was a spin wheel, like a pinwheel in the screen, and they got hypnotized. And they were like, "You will, repeat after me."
Yeah, it's weird. I have a few people that I grew up with and friends on Facebook with who are big time MAGA, and I see them post every once in a while something like that. Like they're like, "This is why I love Trump," and it's a story that's completely made up.
Yeah,
like he met this couple who needs brain surgery and decided to pay for it himself because of whatever. And it's like, you actually believe that that's true? Not a chance.
I truly believe MAGA is a cult. If you're in MAGA at this point, you've already been compromised in a cult.
Yeah, but they're a lot of them, they have like busy lives, and they're working on survival. They're on the edge of the brink of collapse, of kind of like myself, with surviving in this country is difficult, making a living and paying your bills and not going into debt. And if you have kids, supporting kids, it's really tight. So they don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to learning and kind of like media analysis. They see things every once in a while, and that drives their beliefs.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is like on the White House website, and I think his site, selling daddy t-shirts and daddy merch.
He'll do anything for money. It's
like,
amazing.
Doesn't he have enough?
No, it's amazing. I guess you never have enough.
If there was any other person doing that, they would use that money to donate to people in need, disaster, or people unemployed, or people in Gaza, I don't know, or somewhere, like to make you, feel better. But he's just pocketing to himself. He's abusing the presidency to sell merch.
Imagine if I became president and the first thing I did was start a t-shirt company.
And they're in an uproar over Hunter Biden getting a $200,000 check in Ukraine if it even happened. But even if he did, that still doesn't even hold a cake to what these people have done.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't even in politics. Who fucking cares? And then he wrote like a payback check to his dad for the truck, and they went up over like, dude, he paid this dad back? Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
that's what family members do. That's not crooked.
Yeah, but those kinds of stories fall into like what I was talking about before about people. It's just like the more attention you get, the more popular it is. So they focus on like this story, and even though it's nothing, it can be blown into a huge problem.
Yeah, and they just keep talking about it in repeat mode, right?
Yeah.
So eventually the viewers, the listeners start believing it.
Yeah, all we've been hearing about is people talking about this payment Hunter Biden made to his dad for.
Yeah, and that's what I asked my parents too. Like Trump's been talking about the entire time. Well, of course he has, and that's even what Caroline Leavitt will always defend. She's like, "Where's the facts?" Well, Donald Trump keeps talking about it. That's not a fact. Just because someone said it over and over again doesn't mean it's true.
Right. Yeah.
And she still conveys it that way. Like, no, he said it 100 times. It has to be a fact now. And then all his followers are like, yeah, I told you. See, because it's the truth. But where is the evidence? Where's the receipts? Nothing. Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. What's going to be the main topic for next week will be it'll be July 4th. What's going to happen July 4th, Andy? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's just been crazy. I think Pete's been drinking again.
I don't think he ever stopped.
I don't think no. And if I was him, I'd probably be drinking too. You too, right?
Just like Trump
Put up with it.
divesting from his companies. Remember that in the first term?
They all freaking do it, man.
Never happened.
And so did Pam Bondi, all of them. She got drilled this week in the hearings as well. There was hearings with her. Oh my God, Emil Bove, the guy who told the appeals courts or the other federal courts, if they deny you, to tell them to go fuck off and do it anyway. You know, he was the one who was the bright idea who just keep the immigrants on the plane to El Salvador. Like, just don't listen to the judge.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, there was a whistleblower who was working in DOJ who revealed all this stuff.
Oh,
he's like, the Trump administration doesn't have to listen to judicial courts.
Yeah,
and yet he's applying to be a federal judge.
We call that a constitutional crisis, and that means it's kind of the end of our country.
Yeah, and so he's in hearings right now, and he's getting like, and then he always says he doesn't recollect. They're like, do we have evidence? I don't recollect it. And then Pam Bondi, they're like, yeah, we saw that you, did a pump and dump. You dumped a bunch right before he put the tariffs up, and then you bought a bunch.
Right, yeah. Well, we know Pam Bondi is pretty much like a criminal. I mean, she was about to investigate Donald Trump in Florida, and Trump gave her a campaign donation, and she's been a Trumper ever since.
She's always clutching her pearls. Like, don't you ever talk to? She sounds like Parker Posey in White Lotus. How dare you? Don't you ever talk to me that way? You should worry more about Joe Biden. That's the entire hearing. She just kept deflecting back to Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's on his deathbed. We don't need to worry about Joe Biden anymore.
Yeah, but it's like that's all it is. So when you get stuck in a pickle, the only way you get out of it is just keep blaming Hunter and Joe Biden. It's just like when people are going to figure like, man, this has been 4 years and they're still blaming Hunter and Joe, even though Hunter was never in the White House.
Yeah.
And they're investigating whose cocaine that was in the White House, which was in the visitor sections, the part where the administration doesn't even go to. It was in the tourist part area. It
was probably Don Jr.
They think it's Joe Biden's. That's how he does his debates.
They should check Don Jr.'s pockets.
It's ridiculous. Oh my God, what to see. So Andy, I heard you've been making some shorts on Instagram about history, right?
Yes.
Can you more about it? You seem to know a lot when you were talking about the presidents and the wars.
Yeah, I love history. I always have. I find it fascinating. And so like a month or two ago, I was like, maybe while I'm out of work, I can practice my skills by just making my own type of thing. So I wanted to do like shorter, but not shorts of big topics. Like, say, for some reason, the first one I started on was the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It just popped into my head that I wanted to know more about it. So I made like a 6-minute documentary about that. The goal was to keep them short, but still kind of be something. And then in the midst of how am I going to, this is sort of like, this is taking too long to put out as a one-man thing. I need to put out videos all the time. So I started making sort of like this day in history shorts, which are just 30 seconds of like some cool thing that happened this day in history. I'm a couple days behind, I'll admit right now.
Well, like let's show 2 of them on the show right now. Which ones would you like to show? Your favorite ones. 2 of your favorite ones we can show on this, and then we'll start adding them into our shorts on this YouTube channel as well. So start looking for them, folks. Make sure you to ring that doorbell, that little bell, so you can get notified when we make posts.
Basically, I search like, okay, this day in history, and it comes up with like a bunch of different things, and I try and pick something cool or something important that happened or something horribly tragic that I think like we should not forget about.
Right.
Like, so the beginning of the month, June 6th, obviously is D-Day. You have to do something about D-Day. So, I made
that's the second biggest achievement ever in American military history, apparently. Second to the Iranian bombing this past week.
Right.
That's what Pete Hegseth said. More than the killing of Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, and then like obviously the 19th was Juneteenth, so I did a thing. I was watching I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, and he interviews people on the streets.
Yes.
No one knew what Juneteenth was.
Yeah, well, they showed all the old white people.
No, even some kids were on it, and they had no idea what it was.
Yeah, but they looked like the whitest people ever, man.
Kind of choose randomly a little bit, unless something sticks out that you have to do on that day. I chose one last week that was like the first appearance of Donald Duck.
Oh, wow.
In a cartoon. I was like, oh, this is cool. It ran that day in 1960 something. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, I've been doing those kind of daily. They're quick, easy things.
So which two would you like to show us?
Probably we'll go with,
make sure I include it in the video.
Yeah, let's go with some ones recently. I guess we can look at the Juneteenth one.
Okay, great, perfect. Since it just happened.
And then even better, even closer, the 23rd, which was Monday.
Yeah.
Simon Bolivar beats the Spanish army outside of Caracas, Venezuela.
Oh, wow.
And I chose that because I've heard about Simon Bolivar a lot in Latin American countries, South American. He's the George Washington.
Okay.
So he's hugely important, but I don't know a whole lot about him. So I chose to do one on him. So we can take a look at those.
Okay, awesome.
On June 19th, 1865, slavery officially ended in the United States. While the Emancipation Proclamation signed on January 1st, 1863, freeing the slaves in the South, many remained in slavery. It wasn't until Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement in Texas at the end of the Civil War that all slaves were freed. Even though the Confederacy surrendered on April 9th, fighting and slavery continued in Texas until its end was forced by the Union. On June 23, 1821, the Simon Bolivar-led forces decisively defeated the Spanish royalists at the Battle of Carabobo, outside Caracas, Venezuela. The battle led to the independence of Venezuela and the establishment of the Republic of Gran Colombia. Bolivar's independence fighters saw 300 killed or wounded, with the Spanish royalist army suffering 2,908 killed, wounded, or captured.
No one has done more for history than History in Minutes Daily.
Well, those were great, Andy. Thanks for sharing with us, and we look forward to having more of those posted on We Are All Going to Die YouTube channel right here. So, folks, like I said, hit that bell so you get notified when the videos, not only just our videos, but Andy's, what's it called again? The History
in Minutes.
History in Minutes. And also check out his IG, right?
Yeah, I got an Instagram. I got a TikTok that I put them all on.
Okay, cool. We'll put the links below in the description, okay?
Yeah,
so you can click on if you want to see more of those. Like I said, we'll have them posted everywhere. So look forward to them, because if they were as good as those two, I can't wait to see the rest of them, especially that Donald Duck one.
My mom really liked that one.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, when I started doing this, she actually made me. She was like, "Are you gonna?" Because her birthday was June 2nd.
Okay.
And she's like, "Are you gonna do one for my birthday?" And I'm like, "Oh God, here I gotta do it now." I made a special bonus episode. I did two on June 2nd, so I could do one specifically for her birthday with pictures of us. So yeah, it's cool.
Oh my God, yeah, that's hilarious. All right, let's this past weekend, you know what I did this week? I did a card show in Pasadena, and I'll tell you, like, my the top, I sell like trading cards. You've been with me. Hell, I've taken you to the national convention and everything. This is Pasadena, and I sell a lot of like pop culture cards and music stuff and memorabilia and like wrestling and some sports, but I have very big variety. And I think the biggest sellers I had this weekend was the Topps Chrome Kendrick Lamar, since he's an Angelino. It was the first pitch card, 2016 Topps Chrome Kendrick Lamar. It's kind of like his rookie card, and he's in the Dodger uniform, and he's Kendrick Lamar, right? So that's popular. I sold out of those. I was trying. Oh my god, I've totally blanked out. There was another. Oh, I guess what else I sold? I sold all 20 of them. It was Topps Now, the first card of Pope Leo.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Pope Leo.
I didn't pull the 101 or the autograph or even one numbered out of 50 is selling for like $2,000 on eBay.
Oh man.
I pulled 20, and they were all just the base cards.
Yeah.
But man, that was a favorite.
He has an autograph one?
I don't know. One did pull the 101, and I bet you that thing's going to fetch over $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if a 1 out of 50 gets over 2,000, imagine. And like I said, I literally sold, that was a 2-day show. I sold 20 Pope cards probably halfway through on Saturday.
Wow.
I didn't even make it through the entire day.
Wow.
I wish I had 100 more.
Yeah.
And then I didn't sell it, but I have one card that you also have.
I do have.
That, got a lot. No one bought it because I had it for like $75 or something. But I sent it in to get graded now because it's numbered out at 75. And I told Andy to buy this one too. But man, let me tell you, I want to share you guys with this because this is hilarious, because people were like just taking Instagram photos of this. People are like, I love this. I got to send this to a friend. And it's from my buddies here in LA, Gas Trading Cards. I'll have their link down below. Check out their cards. They have something. They even have Diddy cards. You can get they had Diddy autograph cards that happened when he first got indicted.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they have a baby oil version?
Yeah, right. They were selling for like $400. Now, since the trial came on, they're going for like $3,000-$4,000. But I can't do it, man. But anyway, this card that Andy has is the hack video of Trump sucking on Elon Musk's toes.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my god! And then show the photo where it actually happened, where they put it on the monitors in the at the Capitol. It's on the back of the card. There it is. Yeah. See, that's what everybody at the White House saw. It was an AI image. That didn't really happen.
Trump kissing the president's feet.
But man, and that's why I wanted to share that with you too, because I literally had a few people come up to me wanting me to buy their Trump card, not because they think I like it. It's because they saw that and they wanted to talk to me and share with me the reason they're trying to sell their Trump cards, because they admitted that they voted for him in this election, but now they're truly disgusted by the guy and they just want to get rid of it. And they loved seeing that Trump sucking on Elon's toes card. That made their day. And they shared that with me. Does that make you feel good? With you? I mean, it's better late than never, but still, that people want to come and tell you this, I think is a great thing.
Yes. I think it's good. I don't know that. Well, I would never vote for Trump, but if I did, I don't know if I could admit it at this point. So,
well, I think these people are kind of humbly admitting that they were, bamboozled.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, a lot of them were.
And a lot of these guys look like UFC guys, so they probably got bamboozled also by Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Did you see that video of him and Bernie?
Yeah, I did, and like a bunch of people have done some breakdowns of it, and it's really wild. It's so unfortunate with media that it's hard to do it in real time, even for somebody like Bernie, who has, years of political experience and experience being on TV and, has a certain perspective. It's hard to catch while it's going on. And Joe Rogan has a really weird desire or just natural need to
be accepted by the bros,
protect Donald Trump. Like,
okay.
They talk about, what was the big one, was about Bernie says that
donations?
No, that Elon Musk, paid $290 million to get Donald Trump elected, and Joe immediately turns to try and claim that the same thing happened with Kamala Harris, and he doesn't explain that it's different. Her biggest individual donor donated $50 million, which is still like outrageous. And
what did Joe Rogan say?
Oh, he claimed that a single person donated $1.5 billion to Kamala Harris, which is all she raised the entire time. Like, I don't know if he just mixed up the numbers, but like, it's not a good thing to put unfactual or, manipulated numbers like that out into the world.
That's like you said, the whole thing about internet, we're all globally connected, but people can just throw out bullshit. And it's funny that no one is doing any critical thinking for themselves and fact checking for themselves.
Yeah.
They're just ingesting it.
Yeah.
And taking their word.
Yeah. It makes me wonder, because of the way I am, I wonder about my education growing up.
Right.
And I think I got a really good education. Like,
and me too.
I started, I remember 10th grade English class was partially dedicated to media literacy. And I wonder if it's like that around the whole country, because it doesn't seem so. I mean, granted, I found it super interesting back then and did more in that subject, even in college. All my classes were about that. So, because that's what I'm into, I find it really interesting. But it makes me wonder, are people in other areas just getting, like, is the education really bad?
Yes.
It is?
Mm-hmm. And guess which are most of those states? They're red states.
I believe that.
And then all this defunding everything, trying to defund education and everything is going to make it even worse.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever explained, but I've gotten I spent some time working at a community television in New Hampshire, and I got such an amazing education by I was a videographer, like production assistant. I ran the cameras for the city meetings and stuff like that. And I did some sporting events, but like, it was really educational. And I saw immediately how, the right-wing side of the aisle was dead set on constantly taking more and more money from education to give tax breaks to businesses. And I was like, this is going to have consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You take too much money from education, and now you're not training your kids to have a brain in their head.
And then also, like in healthcare, we're like one of the lowest countries in healthcare. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, we have somehow people's health is
less.
People stop profit in that, and that's what's important.
And and then they were like having a hearing with RFK Jr. this week too, having a hearing with him and asking him like about healthcare, and he's like, I don't know anything about it. Like, you don't know, and it's AOC. She's like, wait a minute, you're the head of HHS, right? And you don't know about this particular healthcare and the fraud that's been going on. You've been here, like, this has been going on forever. Like, you're the head of it. You should know this. He's like, I don't know. I have to fear. Like, you don't know. What do you know? And then remember he said like last month or two, he's like, I'm not a doctor. Don't ask me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, what is going? And then, oh my God, it was crazy. And then we got a weekend Fox host, causing World War III now, basically. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's insane, man.
My favorite RFK thing is the video of him swimming with his like grandkids in the
sewer creek,
the nuclear waste like stream.
It's crazy.
And he goes in with his jeans on, like
yeah, he's always in his jeans and shirtless. That's his MO, man. You ever see like Kimmel where you ever seen the little RFK Jr.? He's like a little midget head, but he's got a big head, and he's just always in jeans and shirtless and flexing.
No,
Have you ever seen that character?
No.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it's like mini RFK Jr.
Oh, I gotta see that.
He's like, oh, he's doing push-ups constantly and laying in sewer. But oh my God, it's like, what is going to happen next? I meant, is there going to be a big bang on 4th of July? We'll find out. It's just always going to be something constantly. When are people going to figure out? When are people going to figure out this administration is toxic? Like I've dated a few women who were. Everybody forewarned me they were toxic, but I didn't care. They look beautiful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I went through hell and high water. I got raked through the coals. I was walking on eggshells just to be with these people. And then finally, I was like pulling the hair out of my head, just stressed out, miserable all the time, depressed. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, dude, I can't get in this. And then we break up a million times, and then finally they want me back, and I'm like, do I want to live that life again?
No, yeah.
Like, you're beautiful, sex was great, but man, like, I can't. My brain and my soul can't deal with this anymore. Like, I need something normal, man. I need not to be stressed
crazy.
Out. Yeah, I can't keep my head above this water constantly, right?
Yeah,
a crazy town. I can't keep my head above water in RFK Jr.'s shit creek.
Yeah.
So Andy, you got anything planned for this week? Any coming up?
No.
That's great. Okay.
I don't think so. I'm
certain. Plan on for the next drama. This is like an ongoing soap opera. I think. Do you feel like you're in the Matrix and this is just a big like Truman Show, like reality show? Like this is all plans just so Trump could get ratings.
Oh yeah. I definitely. I saw this comment though. There was a push, and it was really weird, especially during elections, by like mainstream media to turn it into a reality show. Like it was like, oh my God, this happened today. Who's throwing elbows?
Mm-hmm.
And then they were surprised when they got a reality TV show host president. You should have expected this.
And then he hates all the media, of course. He hates all the networks.
Oh yeah.
So he wants to have every network have a show about him if he gets his way. They're all called Daddy. Daddy's home.
Yeah.
Make room for Daddy.
Well, if Kim Jong-un can do it, then
I know. He'll do it. Yeah. Are you going to buy one? I should buy you one of those T-shirts.
Which one? The Daddy one?
Daddy. It's like a red T-shirt, like a red orange T-shirt. This is Daddy.
I don't.
And it's got his face on it.
Yeah, but if money goes to him, don't do it.
It's always
not worth it for a joke. Yeah.
No, I know, right? Oh my God. Or maybe I should make a shirt of the one I just sent you of JD Vance. The photo that kid got in trouble and got sent back. He was in detention here from Norway.
Oh my God.
He was flying here to vacation.
That JD Vance photo is so scary.
They made him look at his phone. They got mad at the photo here.
We should make a movie where, like, instead of the Babadook, it's that JD Vance.
We'll have to use that AI that makes movies for us. We could create that. Boy, that would definitely send us to Sudan.
Sudan, I'd be rich. So
we'd be the first two white boys in Sudan.
Yeah, but we'd be rich.
I'd rather be in that Turkish prison, like Midnight Express. Ooh.
Yeah.
We'd be in a prison, tortured all our lives, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Express.
I'm trying to get deported to Colombia.
That could easily. Well, since the Colombian president does not like Trump either, I think that.
I don't know.
And then you heard that all these prisons that Stephen Miller has investments in.
Oh, is that it?
All these foreign prisons.
Oh.
Coincidence?
He's a terrible person.
He is. Well, Andy, our time's up. We'll have to continue this conversation on our next episode.
Okay.
I know you wore you out last time. You told me not to make this go over an hour and a half. So I'm not going to do it and add some clips to it. But we did talk a lot about stuff. So we'll have to talk about the big, beautiful bill or ugly bill or whatever you refer to it. See what happens by July 4th, right?
Yeah, right. So if we next week we'll talk about that and see what happens.
Yeah, before I head to Europe, Eastern Europe.
Oh,
don't worry, I'm not going to Ukraine or Russia. But I'm going on a river cruise in Eastern Europe. But I will be in Budapest, so I'll say hello to your buddy over there, President Viktor Orban.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe I'll hand him one of my shirts here and give that Trump versus Elon T-shirt I wore on last week's episode.
You could get him a daddy T-shirt.
I'm gonna get who's your daddy? The NATO guy even called him that, but I think he was being sarcastic.
I think so.
Friends. I think he was stirring the pot. Don't you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Like getting him in the elbow to get him started.
Yeah,
to make fun of him afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's just a joker to those people, but they'd still know he's a crazy, mad scientist too. At the same time, he's a idiot fool who has a lot of power.
Yeah,
and all his henchmen. So anyway, guys, this is another episode of We Are Going to Die with Andy and Merlin. Make sure to subscribe. We just started. This is our third episode. We'll be posting a lot of shorts as well, including Andy's history shorts. So keep checking. Please like all you can. Leave comments to make sure it gets in your algorithms and everybody's algorithms. We just, try to get over Elon Musk and Trump's algorithms so we can get to the right people. But we need your help, guys. We need you to share our videos, leave comments, share our stories, hit that bell button so you can get notified on our next YouTube videos. Do whatever you can. I would love to hear some comments. If you have any advice or what would you like on the next show, let us know. Tell us what you think. Doesn't matter if it's bad or good. I'm sure there are going to be some trolls sooner or later. That's when you know you've made it, Andy, when you start getting trolled. Are you ready for it?
Probably not. You're going to have to protect me from those.
Oh, my God. It might be Charlie Kirk. Who knows? Okay. All right, everybody. For Andy and Merlin, we'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Freaks. Bye. It's time again. Andy and Merlin, your cursed best friends. Flames rise high. Don't even try. 'Cause we're all gonna